This is Valley Public Radio. I'm David Ouse. Welcome to Young Artist Spotlight. Support for Young Artist Spotlight comes from the Bonner Family Foundation and from the California Arts Council's Arts and Public Media Grant. In this program, we'll be featuring 3 talented string soloists from the Fresno area. They're all in high school. They all participate in music education at the Simba School of Music in Fresno. And as you'll hear, they're not only gifted musicians, they're also bright and thoughtful people. So let's get started. We're pleased to welcome today as our performer on Young Artist Spotlight, the terrific young violinist, Rowan Crass. Hey, Rowan, great to have you with us today.
Hi, I'm glad to be here.
Yeah, I got to hear you play a month and a half ago. We had you and another young artist perform as part of a special online virtual reception we did for Valley Public Radio. And I enjoyed hearing you so much, wanted to hear more from you and share you with our entire listening audience. So it's great to have you officially as part of Young Artist Spotlight. So how old are you? Where do you go to school? What grade are you in?
Yes, so I turned I'm 16. I'm a sophomore at Edison High School.
What's your favorite subject in school?
I'll say music.
Okay, very good. Good answer, especially for this forum. So you play violin. How old were you when you started taking lessons?
I was around 6. So I was
okay. Do you remember what it was like? Were you clamoring for violin lessons, or was it something your parents said you must take violin lessons?
I was the one that clamored. And I saw it, and I saw like this. We had this toy catalog that was sent to our house, and there's a violin in it, and I was like, oh, that'd be kind of cool. So I asked my mom a lot, and eventually she broke down and gave me lessons.
Very good. And you've been in love with the violin ever since.
Yeah, that's true.
Excellent. So 10 years. And who are you studying with right now? Because you have a private instructor.
Casey Simbatouros.
Okay, through her School of Music. Very, very good. Yeah. Now at Edison, do you have an orchestra there? Are you part of it? And what have you guys been doing this year with music, if you're part of it?
Yeah, I'm part of the orchestra at Edison mostly because a lot of the stuff that I have to do is to participate in All-State FMCA, all that coda, all that stuff is through school. So I definitely do that. This year's been a little bit of a challenge just because it's so tough to do. Music is such an in-person thing, so it's a little bit of an adjustment to do it. So we worked on a little bit of theory at the beginning of the year, and now we're kind of transitioning into Flipgrid, where you'll record yourself and you'll post it on Flipgrid, and the teacher will review it. So we're kind of starting to go into that.
Okay. So like that. Now, one thing that you're lucky with through your instruction at Casey Simbatouros School of Music is that because you're not vocalists and you're not wind players, you have figured out safe ways to do in-person instruction there and have been doing so for quite some time, right?
Yeah, that's definitely true.
Okay, so you guys stay distant and masked up, and that's basically it?
Yeah, so we at the beginning of COVID, once everything started, we did do some virtual lessons, but it's so when everything was really bad, no vaccine out and everything. But the problem with that is, number one, there's breakup issues, and we're doing it on Zoom. The pitches don't always register, so it's a little bit tough. So once everything was safe, we started to stay distance, wear masks, and now we're able to play in person, which is pretty awesome.
Well, that's terrific. It's one of the nice things about not being a wind player.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Today we're going to hear from you a great piece in the violin literature by a tremendously gifted violinist and composer himself, the Austrian-born American composer Fritz Kreisler. What's the piece you're going to play for us?
Well, yeah, so I played this piece called Preludium and Allegro by Fritz Kreisler. It's definitely one of my favorite pieces I've played so far. It's pretty fun. So
okay, so what do you like about it? That it's fun to play? Is that?
Yeah, it's really fun to play, for sure. And I like that it has a little bit of everything. It has some sweet spots where you have to play really slowly and really tender. Then you have some spots where you really get to let loose and really dig into the string. So it kind of has a little bit of everything, which is pretty awesome.
Okay, so nice big range of expression. Super cool. How long did it take you to get this piece performance ready?
I'd say about a month and a half.
Oh wow.
Month and a half, maybe 2 months. That's how long I had it.
Pretty good. Very good. And so the recording that we'll hear for you is one that you've just made recently.
Yeah, this is for solo. This is for a competition that I recently did for participated in.
Now, have you been doing other auditions in the same fashion, doing video?
Yeah. Actually, most of the auditions for Allstate and Coda are traditionally video, not video, they're audio anyways.
Mm-hmm.
So that was the one thing that didn't really change because of COVID. The big thing was the performance that changed.
Gotcha. Okay. Okay. Very good. Well, let's go ahead and we'll give a listen now. I know our audience is going to enjoy this because you're a wonderful player.
Okay.
Our guest artist today on Young Artist Spotlight, Rowan Crass, violinist. He's 16 years old and a sophomore at Edison High School in Fresno. And we'll hear from Fritz Kreisler, Preludium and Allegro. You're listening to Young Artist Spotlight on Valley Public Radio, and that was one of our performers today, Rowan Crass. He's 16 years old and a sophomore at Edison High School in Fresno. He performed Fritz Kreisler's Preludium and Allegro, music composed in 1905. Hey, that was really a lot of fun. I sure enjoyed hearing you and seeing you play it, and it sure looks like you had a lot of fun. You did that with a great accompanist, one of the best accompanists in town, Arnie Kayla. When you prepared to record that, how much prep time did you get directly with Arnie?
Yeah, so directly with Arnie, we did one practice take where we worked on some of the spots where I have to where I changed the tempo or dynamics and stuff. So we did like one practice take, and then we did one run all the way through.
You've been doing a lot of auditions. You also have a recital coming up, isn't that right? What's that going to be like?
I don't know for sure. Our last recital that we did for my music studio was outside in a backyard. So I don't know because of the church wouldn't like let us in or something. I don't know exactly the details for that. But hopefully it's inside because the acoustics are so much better inside than outside. But
right.
I still don't quite know yet. So
okay. And what piece are you working on for that?
I'm working on a Hungarian dance, number 1, I think by Brahms.
Well, that should be a lot of fun. And that's coming up in May at some point. Excellent. So tell me, what do you like most about making music and about playing the violin?
For making music, I would definitely say that, you know, these composers that you're playing, that you're playing for the most part, like Fritz Kreisler, Beethoven, Bach, Mozart, those are like all-time greats. They're perhaps some of the greatest musicians in my opinion, the greatest musicians to ever live. And it's really cool that you get to take a piece of history that's cemented in stone and you get to kind of make it your own. You get to add your own dynamics. It's up to your own interpretation. So I think that's super cool. I think that's awesome.
Excellent. What role do you see music playing in your life as you move forward?
I don't know yet. Maybe I might get my PhD in music. I wouldn't be shocked if I become like a music professor. I wouldn't be shocked if, you know, I major in performance and try to go into that. Or I wouldn't be shocked if I'm just do it as a hobby, because no matter what, I'm planning on playing music till I die because it's such an important part of who I am as a person. But I don't know yet.
All right. Well, you're a terrific musician, and it's clear that you love music. So I can tell that it's going to be a big part of your life, whatever you end up doing with it. Well, Rowan, thank you so much for joining us on Young Artist Spotlight today. It's been great hearing you and great talking with you.
Thanks for having me.
We're featuring string players today on Young Artist Spotlight, and usually when we have a string soloist, it's a violinist or a violist, and then every once in a while, a cellist. Today, we get the delight of hearing a bassist, Emma Sigala. Emma, welcome.
Hi, thank you for having me.
Oh, so great to have you here. So, Emma, how old are you? Where do you go to school?
I am 16 years old, and I'm a sophomore at University High School.
All right. University known for their great music program. And you play, I assume, in the symphony orchestra there?
Yes.
Okay. How long have you been playing the bass?
I've been playing the bass for 5.5 years.
All right. What drew you to the bass? How did you pick the bass?
I really wanted to be in an orchestra setting, and I was kind of later on when I switched to the bass, and I just really thought it was beautiful and not as common. So, yeah.
Nice choice. I like that. Now, bass is not your first instrument. You started music lessons quite young. What was your first instrument?
My first instrument was the piano, and I played that. I started at 3 and I played until I was 10.
Okay. And then 10 is when you made the switch to bass.
Yeah.
What was the biggest challenge of moving to a string instrument?
I think the bow was really hard, and just like learning how to play with other people that are playing the same instrument as me, like in a bass section, that was kind of challenging.
That's, you know what, that is a very big difference. If all your music has just been on piano before, especially at that age, you're seldom, except for maybe the occasional duet, you're pretty much playing by yourself. So now all of a sudden, time, tempo, rhythms become much more important. Okay. Thinking back, do you remember how long it took you to get to just like making a good sound with the bow?
It took me a while.
Yeah.
Probably a month.
Yeah. It usually
Yeah.
does. Yeah, it usually does. Usually takes longer than that to get a really, once you understand, that'll get you to a passable sound, and then understanding or getting a really, really nice sound. That's kind of the lifetime. All right. So you're going to play a piece for us that has become part of the bass repertoire, but it actually started as a cello piece. What are you going to play for us today?
I will be playing Allegro Appassionato by Camille Saint-Saëns.
Okay, written in the 1870s, and instantly became a famous part of the cello repertoire, a great encore piece, things like that. Well, and it just sounds really terrific on the bass too. How long did it take you to put this together for performance?
It took me 2 months to prepare this.
All right. What do you like about this piece?
I just really love how fun it is, and it really challenged me in terms of reading different clefs and all the different positions I had to play.
Yeah.
And it's just really, really fun.
It is a showpiece for all the skills you've mastered at this point in your playing career. Well, let's listen now as Emma Sigala performs Camille Saint-Saëns' Allegro Appassionato on Young Artist Spotlight. That was bassist Emma Sigala. She's 16 years old and a sophomore at University of High School on Young Artist Spotlight performing on bass, Camille Saint-Saëns' Allegro Appassionato. Boy, Emma, that was super, super fun to hear. Really, really enjoyed your performance.
Thank you.
So you recorded that at the Simba School of Music, where you've done stuff before, and your accompanist was Arnie Kayla, who's one of the great accompanists in town. How long did you get to work together with Arnie before you recorded that video?
We just kind of talked about the spots that I thought we would have a possibility of messing up on, and we just did it. That was the first take.
All right. Well, great. Oftentimes the first take is the best one, so I'm glad it went well for you. So besides music, what subjects do you like in school?
I love sciences and math and anything like health related. Yeah.
Okay. And so we talked earlier, and so you want to go into nursing, right?
Yes.
Very, very good. So what do you like most about making music?
It's just such a great outlet to express myself, and just it makes me feel better if I'm ever down or anything. It's just very beautiful, and I just love it so much.
Okay. And so what role do you see music playing in your life as you go forward?
Music will always be in my life. Maybe music therapy I was thinking about, and just playing in orchestras and things like that.
Excellent. Excellent. Oh, and speaking of orchestras, have you ever participated in youth orchestras of Fresno?
Yes, I was in their orchestras for about 3 years.
What did you take away from that experience?
It really taught me how to be aware while I'm playing an orchestra and how to just multitask while playing, and I'm just so grateful for that.
Excellent. Well, you're a fabulous musician, and it was terrific to get to know you a little bit more today and to hear you play. Emma Sigala, thanks so much for being on Young Artist Spotlight.
Thank you.
So our guest for this segment of Young Artist Spotlight is a terrific violinist, Emma Woodward, and I got to hear you play, Emma. A couple of months ago, you played a special online event for our broadcaster circle, and we enjoyed your playing so much, we wanted to have you back for a real full-length official performance on Young Artist Spotlight. Great. So thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you.
All right. So how old are you? Where do you go to school? What grade are you in?
I'm 17 years old, and I am a junior at University High School.
Okay. And how old were you when you started taking violin?
I was 7 years old when I started, so it's been about 10 years now.
Okay. And you've had the same teacher that whole time, right?
Yeah, my private lesson teacher is Casey Simba-Torres, and I started violin with her, and yeah, I've been with her ever since then.
All right. And do you play any other instruments besides violin?
Yes, I play piano. Well, piano is my first instrument. I started with Casey at age 5, and I took lessons for a while, and I played jazz piano for like 4 or 5 years, and now I just play for fun at home, play music that I have. I'm also a percussionist. I played drum set in my school jazz band for 2 years at UHS, and I was in the percussion ensemble at UHS too. And I did a youth percussion band called We Got the Beat.
Oh,
Elementary school and middle school.
well, We Got the Beat has launched hundreds of great musicians, probably thousands over the years. They do excellent, excellent work. Super cool. And, it's kind of one nice thing, too, about doing percussion stuff. In so much of other music, we're so focused on just getting right notes that even rhythm, pure rhythm, gets kind of lost in the shuffle sometimes. So I bet that helps you even in your violin playing.
Yes.
Reading rhythms and getting feel of grooves and interpreting things. Well, that's how fantastic. Boy, what a breadth of playing experience you've had.
Yeah.
Very, very good. The piece you're going to play for us today is one of the great ones and popular ones in the violin literature. It's by Max Bruch, the German Romantic composer. Violin Concerto Number 1 in G minor. Tell me a little bit about this piece.
Well, what I played was the third movement, which is like the finale, and it was really fun to learn. It's really exciting to play. It's a piece that when you audition for like symphonies or for colleges, it's something that they ask for, so it's something that you need to know, that you need to like have under your belt. But I just really have enjoyed playing it. It's probably my favorite concerto I've played so far. And it has everything. I mean, just the finale itself, which is the only part I've learned, but it has so much to it. Like there's slow parts, fast parts, exciting parts, like double stops, all of that kind of thing. So yeah, overall, it's just really fun to learn, really fun to perform.
Well, I guess that's what makes it such an important part of the repertoire, and particularly for auditions as well, is that in a relatively short amount of time, you get to show off your lifetime of musical preparation. All the technique and all the expression comes into play to bring that thing to life. How long did you work on this piece to get it together?
I think it's been close to 6 months, actually, because I started in late summer. But it was kind of slow at first because I just worked on learning the end, which is the hardest part. So I worked on that for like a month or more. And then towards the end, when I was preparing to play this piece for a solo festival, the whole progress of learning it really sped up, and I put it all together in a couple weeks, memorized it, all of that. But yeah, I'd say like maybe 5 months.
Okay, that's pretty quick for a work of this stature, right? To put together a concerto like this. In the past year, solo festivals and auditions have changed a little bit, haven't they?
Yeah, normally it's in person. You get to go play on a stage for judges. But this year you just send in a recording.
Do you play? So you play, you go to University High School, so you play an orchestra there. I know in preparing for this, you were telling me how with a kind of your full orchestra at University High School, you've done some recordings of putting together, however many pieces there are in that full orchestra. But and this semester, you've been broken up into smaller groups, right?
Yeah, so our instructor, Randall Cornelison, he's the music director at UHS, he decided to break us up into quartets so we could find music that we liked and pick it and just put it together ourselves. So like we found a backtrack, we recorded it. We have a sound program where we line up all the videos. And so far my quartet has done 2 different pieces. One of them was Haydn Quartet, and another was Beauty and the Beast, like a medley. But yeah.
Oh, fun. It's fun. And extra fun that you got to pick your own music for your quartet. Sure. That's super. Now, so you mentioned We Got the Beat and your private instruction in piano and violin and stuff you're doing at school. Have you also performed in youth orchestras at Fresno or other programs that they do?
Yeah, so I did youth orchestras at Fresno in elementary school, like 1 or 2 years. I did FUSA, which is their summer program. Last year I did that, and we went down to Disney Hall and performed. That was really fun. I've also played with the Fresno City College Community Orchestra for 2 or 3 years. I played with the Reedley City College Community Orchestra last year. So I was really doing a lot before COVID hit.
You really were. Boy, that's a whole lot. Well, I'm sure everybody is really, really ready to hear you play this. So let's listen now as Emma Woodward performs music of Max Bruch, Violin Concerto No. 1 in G minor. We'll hear the third movement. That was violinist Emma Woodward here on Young Artist Spotlight from Valley Public Radio, performing the third movement of Max Bruch's Violin Concerto No. 1 in G minor. Boy, Emma, that was terrific. Thanks so much for that performance. Great to hear it.
Thank you.
What do you like best about music? What do you love best about playing music?
Well, I think for many years, my favorite thing is playing with other people in orchestras. One time I got to play with the Sequoia Symphony, and we played a John Williams concert. And at that concert, I realized like how special it feels to play in an orchestra with talented musicians. And that feeling is like probably one of my favorite things, which is sad because this last year I haven't gotten to do
not that experience at all.
And
right.
with Allstate, you play with other kids your age, and everyone loves to play, and it's just so fun, to perform some really big symphony for an audience and everything. And I think this past year, it's been more working on my own and playing solo pieces and stuff. And so I think my favorite part about that is just like learning the piece and understanding like the emotions of the piece and playing it musically. And I really like for this Bruch concerto, that's what I really love about it, is because I can feel the emotion with all of it and I can play with emotion. That's like my favorite part about being a violinist.
Well, that's wonderful. What role do you see music playing in your life as you go forward now?
I want to study music in college. I mean, I'll be honest, I haven't completely decided what I want to do, but it's been such a huge part of my life. I've met so many people like my whole career as a violinist, and you learn life skills from being a violinist. You just don't learn how to read music. You learn how to be dedicated to something and to work hard for something. And so I think that's changed my work ethic as a person. But in the future, I don't know. I think that I will appreciate music more. I will understand musicians more. I want to keep playing violin as an adult and everything. So I don't know. It's just, I can't see it not in my life. So yeah.
Well, excellent. Well, whatever role music plays in your life going forward, we wish you all the best. And thanks so much for joining us today and sharing your art with us. It was a real treat to hear you play and to get to know you better and hear your thoughts about music. Thanks so much, Emma.
You were very welcome. Thank you for having me.
That concludes another episode of Young Artist Spotlight. Thank you to our wonderful performers today, Rowan Crass, Emma Sigala, and Emma Woodward. Thanks also to Casey Simbatoris of the Simba School of Music. Special thanks to CMAC for video production. Support for Young Artist Spotlight comes from the Bonner Family Foundation and from the California Arts Council's Arts and Public Media Grant. For Valley Public Radio, I'm David Alves.